Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome back to another Wild Eye Wednesday. Now today we're going to be taking a look at Lycanimator. But before I get into my review, I wanted to take the time to thank Wild Eye for sending me this copy to review for you guys. They are definitely where it's at with independent horror. I'm going to put the links to their YouTube channel and their official website in the description box below. Definitely check them out. Lycanimator is a 2018 film which runs approximately 60 minutes and is written and directed by Sebastian Godin. Now he was responsible for Dino Gore, Jekyll vs. Hyde, and Ouija Mummy, also released by Wild Eye. Now this stars Kate Fennis as May. She was in Zed's Dead, Supernatural Assassin, and Death Care, which, by the way, Death Care has a really cool cover. Not sure if it's available, but I'd like to find out. This also stars Joel D. Wynkoop as Niven. He was in Hammer, Slashcam, and Table of Death. And Brianna Wyman as Nikki. She was in Ouija Mummy, Lefty Lucy, and some shorts. Now this had a budget of $3,500, which is minuscule. And some of the other people that play cameos in the film are Todd Sheets and James Balsamo. Okay. This has a pretty simple story, and like I said, it's only an hour long, so I believe it was originally a short story or a short film, and they kind of put some stuff in there to kind of pad it out for the hour runtime. You have 4 kids that go up to a cabin where some kids are already there, and they just want to party, of course, like kids do. And it just happens to be a place where there were experiments done by not like a mad scientist, but it was a scientist that was trying to use all different parts of different animals and splice them with humans. They were told that they were going to be discontinued, and the one guy got kind of irritated and decided to drink the formula, and he became a werewolf, sort of. He's a werewolf, but it's like a really wild, interesting looking werewolf. You'd have to see it. I really can't do it justice. This picture kind of does in a way, but it's very interesting. That's basically the gist of the film. I'm going to leave it there. You do have Joel D. Wynkoop, who plays a guy kind of like a Crazy Ralph sort of guy, but he doesn't just warn the kids that they're doomed. He tries to save them, and he has some... It seemed like he has some special powers. That's just what I got out of it. Now, as I said before, this is a very short film, and I believe it was developed from a shorter film, so they had to add a lot of stuff in order to kind of pad the runtime. Now we're going to get into the positives and the negatives, because I believe a lot of the positives and the negative come from the padding out the runtime. One of the positives I wanted to say is this movie felt like a music video in some ways, some of the parts of the film. And I thought that they were filmed really good, and I thought that the filming was interesting. Now, of course, some of the negatives, you have a lot of slow motion shots in order to drag the time along. There is a few parts that if you are motion sick, if you do have motion sickness, it will get you because they could not hold that camera steady to save their life. And of course, there was also a few shots that were really, really out of focus, which that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. If you're going to use a camera, make sure it's in focus, especially if you're making a film. All in all, I actually kind of liked it. Other than the stuff that I told you that I didn't like, I thought it was actually kind of creative. It's not something that you see all the time. I mean, yes, you have the scientist who creates the werewolf and all that, but it wasn't a typical werewolf. It was more of a psychedelic sort of werewolf. And that's something we really haven't seen before. It was kind of taking it maybe a little bit of a step further. Um, there's another small nitpick I have with the film, and that is the characters. The characters were very hard to root for because I just didn't particularly care about them. Now, when you're dealing with low budget film, that is something that kind of comes up quite often, in my opinion. The characters really aren't developed. I get that. You're working with what you have, but, one of the main guys who has blonde hair and kind of dresses like a skater, he was just a total jerk. And it didn't really take me out of the film, but it really made me want him to die. So, yeah, or get killed by the werewolf. So, yeah, take that for what it is. Another special thank you to Wild Eye for sending me this copy. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.